The first item that we're asked to evaluate is surface texture. Surface texture, we need to determine whether this soil is coarse, medium, moderately fine, or fine. Well, to assist us in doing that, we may be able to determine the textural class name of a soil as was indicated in lab number 1. But let's say, for example, we determine the topsoil, in this case, it was determined to be a silt loam. Which of these textural groupings does that fit into? Well, if we look at page 12 in our land evaluation manual, it takes each of the textural classes of soil and breaks them into one of these 5 groupings that are indicated on the land evaluation scorecard. So the topsoil in this case is a silt loam. We see that silt loam soils fit into the medium textured soil category. So for item number A on the land evaluation scorecard, we would mark item number 3, medium, indicating that that is where the silt loam soil falls in textural grouping. The subsoil texture in this case is a silty clay loam. The silty clay loam, when we look back on page 12 of our manual, we'll notice that it falls into the lower end or the bottom end of the moderately fine textured soils. So for item number B on our evaluation card, we should have marked moderately fine, category 4. If you were scoring this exercise, you'll notice that there are points in the left-hand column alongside. When you add up all of these categories that you're asked to evaluate on the scorecard, you come up with a total of 75 points. So what I would be doing would be looking at how many points you scored out of that 75, determining a percentage from that. The next item that we're asked to evaluate is the permeability of the soil, and it indicates that we should base permeability on the most restrictive layer in the soil profile. Well, what determines the permeability of a soil? We should look first at soil texture. This information is explained to you on page 13 of the manual under permeability. Rapid. These soils have sandy texture with looser porous subsoil with little, if any, defined structure other than single grain. Moderate, loamy textured soils, friable to slightly firm subsoils, well-developed structure. Slow. These soils have loamy or clay subsoils with firm consistence. And then very slow soils generally have clay subsoils with very firm consistence, dense, compact appearance. Well, in this case, we're dealing with a loam or a silt loam type soil. So we would expect the permeability here to be moderate. However, if we look back at what we were able to measure or evaluate at this site on our example situation number 1, we see that there was a platy pan that was evident at 22 inches and roots were not evident below this. In this situation, we would downgrade the permeability of this soil. Since that pan occurs at only 22 inches below the soil surface, we should have downgraded the permeability here to slow. So I evaluated for site number 1, example situation number 1, the permeability of this soil to be slow, category 3.